Two, one.
Alrighty, welcome in everyone to another episode of Dude, Where's My Car? Three special guests, myself, Dom, and Huddy here, really with live trading
Here we go.
Good Morning NASDAQ, not Dude, Where's My Car, I haven't seen that movie in years. Um, what's going on everybody, how you doing? Let's check the chat, everyone's live and well. Thomas, Wayne, William, Philly, Phili, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Fran, Joseph, Brendan, Don Mash, what's going on? Welcome in. I feel like it's been a while since all three of us have been here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but the gang's here. The gang's ready to rumble. Looks like a busy day out there. Um, let's just jump right in. Let's get right into the watch list. Does anyone want to start? Anyone want to volunteer as tribute? Huddy or Dom?
Yeah. I'll just kind of go first.
All right, let's hear it.
ZAPP going to be my main watch today. Chart that I've been stalking for quite some time. I do have some shares overnight from 18. Kind of my plan for today, or I kind of expect to happen is if this is super weak, hopefully kind of panics into the 10 area, 12 to 10 area, where I could cover my overnight short and then free myself. So in case it, bounces towards 15 or somewhere towards the pre-market levels, I can add that size back on and try to hit it twice. Just given the range it has, I think there's going to be more than one opportunity here. I don't think it's just going to die right out of the gate. So definitely watching that one for, panic dip buy and then some type of parabolic spike back or bounce back to get short again. That's honestly going to be my main watch. That's where I really want to make my money today. Um, other than that, I'm watching LGBN, the 100% gapper for some type of short, gap and crap type of idea. But just going to give it, 10, 15 minutes into market open before really deciding if I want to get in or not.
I like it. I like it. Dom?
Hey yo, how's everyone doing? I'm not on my main setup. I'm not on any setup because I don't have any power at my house, so
Dom's on his
you can't see
laptop.
me. No shower for me either today, so hopefully it gets up here at some point today. But I did swing. If you were part of 3 or 4 leaf, you saw my trade alert last night go out right before the end of after hours. I did buy some VVPR. It was closing right around the breakout level. History of big gap ups in the right sector. I had some news and was looking for five. Ended up waking up in the morning, putting some sellers in the high fours and fives all the way up to the 560s or 70s. Got the majority filled, sold the rest there. I don't know, somewhere in the low fours, the last little piece of it. So starting off with a nice cushion this morning. VRPX was on watch for that 3 day breakout, but it already broke out. So waving goodbye to that one.
Oh wow.
ZAPP, I also was shorting from my phone at 4 a.m. I have like a 16-20 average there, with the goal to get more if it spikes hard enough. I don't expect this to go green again. We're down 24% on the day. This stock it hasn't not gapped up in the past 6 days. So I expect red to be pretty significant. And I don't plan on predicting whether I think it's going to be choppy this morning or it's just going to fade all day because I think both options are possible. So I'm just going to hold on to that position from higher and look for sub 10 for covers. I do think it can get ugly based off of how long this one's been up. And there's just a lot of room on the daily chart to come down. And yeah, I have back burner on OPTT for a breakout over the high 50s. But that 50-cent area is important. If we fade off today, I think it's less likely that we break out. But if we continue to hold up, I like this one into the end of the week.
Nice, nice. Um, Let me see something real quick. Okay. Um, yeah, awesome. What do we got? 8 minutes to the open here. Me as well. So unlike Huddy and Dumb, am not short Zap from higher prices. Unfortunately, I do have shares borrowed. But I just, I'm not gonna be the guy who can chase to get short down here at 13. There's just no way I've ever, I think rarely ever. I think I probably can count less than on my hand how many times I've been willing to chase something short this low and then expect it to go much lower, where the risk reward from here to red green is worth it. I need some kind of spike. I need 15, 16, 17. I need something to work with. If this just dies right out the open to 12, 11, 10, you won't see me trading this thing today. Now, if it pulls 11, 12, or 10, but then by midday it's spiking, that's still a world where I could get interested in. If it doesn't spike at all ever, like if 1350 is the literal high for today, then so be it. I will miss it. I've been in too many situations when it comes to overextended gap downs that are just too back and forth on whether it spikes or not. The problem is when they do spike, you take a huge loss. When they don't spike, you miss it. It is what it is. That's why overextended gap downs have never been a huge part of my profitability. It's been a small part, but not, no huge wins come from this kind of setup for me for that reason. So we'll see. We'll see if it offers a spike or not. If it does, I think it's going to be a nice win because I do think these highs hold. If it doesn't, then again, miss it. So there's that. And then a lot of gap and craps. LGVN is obviously the biggest. This is the 100% plus, so that's nice. I think it has a good history, right? At least a couple times. It doesn't really hold. A couple times it does, a couple times it doesn't, so we'll see. There's also, what was the one I liked? VVPR. Right, Dom's awesome long. That was a great long, Dom. This has also had some good instances. This one first day wasn't, but this one was really sick on day 2. And even 4 or 5 days ago, this one was also pretty decent. Not massive, but some downside. So I will be keeping an eye on there. Also, KZIA, a little bit lower price of a one. But I believe they have warrants in the 20-cent range. And if you look at the chart without even having to zoom into the candles, every single time there's volume, it's a red candle, right? Red volume, red volume, red volume, red volume. So wish this was higher priced, at 32 cents. I don't love it. I wish it was maybe closer to 40, which it was earlier. So we'll see. If it doesn't really pop, then I probably might not touch it. But I do like that either way. This doesn't look great for this company to spike. Other than that, there is VRPX, but something about it. I don't know. Something about it steers me away. Maybe because it's more of a breakout than a gapper. But I mean, that doesn't mean anything. It's in the same token, that doesn't mean I'm going to be buying the breakout. The breakout's already happened, right? I wouldn't chase this thing, nearly 70 cents off the breakout level either. So something to also consider there as if you want if you literally want like 4 or 5 gappers to be watching, there's plenty of them today. Other than that, I think a back burner play for me is COS. COS, I think, had such a failure of a what's it called, of a spike. And actually, for people as well, remember, let's increase the size of the text here. COS had such a failure to hold any gains from its bounce yesterday that I just can't help but look at this chart and think there is a bunch of room still to come down into the 8s, 7s, even back down to the 6s or 5s. Now that would be a multi-week, multi-month idea for that kind of a swing, but I can't help but think that there's still room for another red day down to the 9 to the 8 range, especially how much more bag holders or resistance was made from yesterday's bounce. Again, nothing crazy, nothing high odds. In fact, it might just chop around. It might not even go lower, but it is something I do have a chart up for, and just in case it does go somewhere. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. We've got 3 minutes until the open. William Gregory says VRPX has warrants at, 135? It's not bad. It's interesting. We'll have to consider it, but for now, I'm almost running out of charts, to be honest, in terms of having a chart up of it. We'll see. We'll have to see how this goes. It might be one of those days where there's so much going on and I actually do less in terms of performance. So, but anyways, any last minute thoughts, gentlemen, for the open here?
Did you already answer the questions in the chat?
No question in the chat. Oh wait, what about SNGX? SNGX, I did put on my watch list. However, now that we're in the open, I don't really think I'm gonna play it. Like I said before the stream, I looked at the charts, game planned for the day, which is what I kind of just explained to you, which is there's a lot going on, and so the last thing I want to do is try to trade 7 different tickers and then miss all of them practically. So SNGX here, yes, this is one if it does spike. Theoretically, if it spikes into any of these, like this 10 to 11 or 12 resistance level and fails, I think it offers a decent fade? Yes. Do I think it's a setup worthy enough to take away from the other 5 or 6? No. Maybe
it could be interesting. I read into their inducement warrants where I could have been reading it wrong. It's always kind of hard for me to get the exact language, but it sounded like these warrants, like they induced the people that held them, they made them convert them into common stock at $6. And then also, depending on how many they actually convert, they don't have to convert them all, but if they, depending on how much they convert, they actually get 1.5 times more than what they convert.
Hmm.
And all of that can be sold into the market. So I feel like this gap up, if there is a push, that might be an opportunity for an exit for them on those warrants that were kind of messed with during the middle of the market hours yesterday. That's at least where my brain goes. I still think it might be kind of a tricky trade to time. But I imagine like if this does pop 10, 11s, 12s, it might get hit with a lot of supply.
I like it. Yeah. And that's the thing. I hear how do you say that? I'm like, yeah, this could be good if that plays out. Again, this is one of those days where I have 8 charts, 9 charts in front of me. All of them are filled with potential plays, and that's the danger of it,
Yeah.
which is great. But I could be trying to trade 6 of them, and the other 2 that work, I miss them. It's one I can already feel it. Right, I've been in front of these days so many times, and so I'm really trying to select. And for whatever reason, SGX is just not on that. If we, I'll move a chart up. I could fit it in, but I do not have any more shares borrowed for it. So there is a world where we might just miss it. So let's get Zap up, the main one of the day as we open here in 10 seconds. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's KZIA never really popped more. I don't really love it. The 30-cent range. We'll see. All right, market's open. We'll just get some I don't want to call them ghost orders. Like, get my level 2s ready, just in case anything shows me something I like. But other than that, so dip out the open here so far for Zap. And if you do have questions, feel free to ask them. We just won't get to them maybe in another 10 to 15 minutes. We're gonna let the dust from the open settle, and then we'll get to the chat. All right, cost spiking, can immediately rule that out for now in terms of lower, right? This is not doing what I want. I wanted to fade it lower, not pop. So we're gonna really not care about watching that at the moment now. Zap a little lower. All the gappers kind of doing nothing. VRPX spiking though. SNGX spiking. And so if I was taking SNGX seriously, I mean, I'm looking at this over under level like 6 or 950s, 960s. I'm looking at this little double top midday at like 1060, and then this double top from the morning at like 12. One of those levels would need to fail to get some interest in that. We're gonna give KZIA a short here. I just entered some. Again, I don't love that it. I do like that it popped. It still wasn't a big enough pop. Like I would really have liked to get back into the 40s, but I also can't help the fact that those warrants might just have those warrant holders might just not care. But if we break over 33 here immediately, I'm just going to cut it, which it looks like we might. But I thought I was going to just give it a quick death, and if it doesn't, then we'll just take a small mini loss here. Yep. Didn't fill at all. Let's see. Do we have to chase a bit? We're filling some. No. Dang, this little... There we go. Okay.
Very nice as that.
So we'll see. If this breaks down again, I'll reshort, but that was a quick little small loss, $1,000. wanted to see it die right away if I was going to short it this low, but we're not working that way. What do you say about Zap, Dom?
Just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, straight down, weakness.
It's
Kind of to be expected, honestly. Not something I would just chase it in short, like I said, or in pre-market. But if it's like if shorts like Dom and Huddy are already up numerous dollars a share, if shorts like me who are not in don't want to chase, it's like who's left to squeeze themselves? You know what I mean? And all that's left is longs that are finally realizing this thing's down 30% instead of up 30% to start the day. So one of those scenarios where the shift is finally shifting.
It just sometimes takes a week for it to shift.
It can take a while. That's for
And
sure.
we're just a little impatient as that we just want immediate gratification.
Right. It can be a while.
Been a while.
SNGX, some failure. Let's see if I decide to borrow and short some last minute here. Borrows are not cheap. KZIA to 37. Good thing I cut there. Look at that. Now we're talking. Let's see. Do I really want to borrow for SNGX? I guess I'll do it. I guess we'll do it. SNGX. We'll get rid of Zap on another chart I have up just because Zap clearly is not going to be shortable for me at this stage in the game. We'll see if it fails more, but I do like that failure on the high day there.
Well, GVN is so far just wicking to the upside and having a hard time closing above the opening price, which indicates to me that it's kind of weak.
LGVN, yeah, it does. I just took a starter here at 9. Not really sure how I want to add because I don't really want to chase it in the 8s, but I don't think it's fully failed yet either.
What stock?
SNGX.
Oh.
And volume's a lot lower, though. I like how low this volume is. But it could just pop right over, which it looks like it might. LGVN lower. I did not short that. I wish I had. Dang it. We might need a bounce or something. It's a bit choppy, though. It might come back.
VRPX, quite the morning spike on that one.
VRPX.
It's impressive.
Did they PR this morning?
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so.
Just went probably because VVPR sounds like it and was already running.
Because it's the pattern that's been working and everyone is just loading it up.
It just looks so random at whatever time that was.
It was random. I watched the move happen.
Oh my gosh! See, this is you guys already know what's happening. Too much is going on. literally gonna stop out on SNGX, missing the reshort on KZIA. Like, this is brutal. Like, look at that. Literally spiked. Like, I literally wanted to close to 40. What does it do? Goes to 40. Could have risked pre-market highs. I'd be up, over 10 cents a share at this point. Now I'm watching SNGX to stop out because it literally decides to go up the moment I get in. Luckily, it's just a starter. Maybe it double tops here. I'll pull it up for you guys. LGVN lower. I hate chasing that one. Maybe it bounces. Great start, guys. Great job, everybody.
Dawson says VRPX did PR at 7:30. That makes more sense.
Did they?
All right, SNGX, come on. You can do this.
Wow. I guess if Zap goes to 10, I have no choice. I guess I do have a choice.
It's tough with Zap because there's a world where it's just down and sideways the whole day. We've seen that before. Um, but yeah, it's tough to feel like where the cover spot is here. But I don't think it's the worst thing to be putting in a couple cover orders
I
in
don't know, I
case
look
it
at the
starts to
daily chart. We
bounce.
still way up there.
I know. But I'm just also looking at previous examples of stocks that have faded from this area, and 10 to 12 is that area. So I think a potential low can be here, and we could start ramping, and then there's like a range, right?
Yeah. You swung it
But
overnight. Was it super expensive?
Yes.
I think I paid $236 for a $15,000 position. So, I'm up 45, maybe 5,000 on it right now. So, you got to weigh
Yeah, it's
whether 200 bucks is
crazy.
worth it or not.
Sounds worth it
It,
there.
for me, it was, I paid 6 cents for the locates, and so they were pretty cheap.
Where are
So
you guys
all in, I'm
finding
probably
these
like,
locates for 6 cents?
you just gotta, ask nicely.
I get it up
VRPX
at
holding up.
3.59 this morning, and I get freaking 18 cents a share.
Manners
Ouch.
maketh man. So far, Zap kind of now bouncing and making me regret not putting an order in.
Someone says, so IVP morning spiking again. This has been a freaking chop fest that I want nothing to do with.
That's interesting because they just closed an offering with shares priced at $1, and I think they're like available to be sold today. So I wonder really why this is spiking. But again, like all that stuff is kind of hard when there's no volume. There's kind of volume there though.
SNGX is gonna stop me out. I can just feel it.
He can feel it in his
It's
bones.
literally just 10 cents away, just waiting to just. And the problem is, this one of those tickers is gonna spike, go to new high day, spike into like one of these resistance, and then fail. But it's like I don't know. I don't love just hoping it holds. Yeah. No, thank you. Might have just double topped there, but screw that. Lost 1,800 there.
I think I'm gonna quit shorting stocks if they're green on the day.
Right. Sometimes it's a safe bet. VVPR lower. Don't worry about it, guys. Missed that one. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Didn't see that crack. That's a good one.
We did a webinar yesterday. Kyle was just talking about how sometimes you just don't have it.
Yeah, like there's just some days that you
It's
just
not working for you.
Yeah, it's just not your day, you know. And what do you know? SNGX fails. This is fun, guys. Luckily it's not bad. Yesterday was bad. Yesterday I took 3 losses in a row and immediately was down 20 grand. Luckily I'm at 2 losses in a row and we're only down 3, so much smaller today. It's like subconsciously I knew. It's like we're gonna start in on things because otherwise we're just gonna left and right losers.
VRPX in the 3s? Wow. That's freaking thin.
I went ahead and covered a few Zap, just maybe like 25%. I don't think this is an all bottom, but I do want to give myself the ability to short that back if we do bounce from here into like the 15 area.
You mother freaker.
LGBN.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Who
pretty
brought
good.
that up the other day? It was like on day 2 of the move. Oh yeah, I first saw it yesterday in the daily chart. I was like, "That's
we just shorted some. I might regret it, but it
at
already
5."
it already looks like I regret it, but
That's crazy.
we're gonna give it a whirl. Yeah, they got me. This is fun. SNGX though, I like that that Lily new high went up by 5 cents. Let's go back to SNGX real quick. Lily 5 cents and then failed, and all we need to do is break this like higher high like trend here. So I am still looking at this for a reshort of a starter, just because I think that was definitely not a bullish move higher. In fact, I was probably maybe the only reason why I went 5 cents higher.
Yeah, for me, SNGX, I really want to see this like really fast candle to the upside, and then that get immediately sold into, and then I'd probably think about risking off that high.
Right. It's just
I don't
tough
really
because
want to
it's
short with a consolidation.
so wiki. Yeah, I could do the same thing as I did yesterday. So I'm not loving it. Even if I do reshort, it'll just be a starter.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Like, I'm thinking about the consolidation area from yesterday. So, this 12 to 10,
Right.
that's where I really want it to spike into because I feel like we might have bagged some people when we broke out of that 12 area. Plus, we have the inducement warrants, so that might be an area of supply.
Now here we go.
Of course, risk gets
That was
there.
a good fail.
That just looks like nice. That does look like nice.
Nice. The problem is I don't know how I'm gonna add here. I got my starter. That's about it. But then again, I guess taking 2 losses in a row, if I take another loss in the starter, it'll be about the size of a full size loss with some slippage. So maybe that's about it for me. Well, we'll see. LGVN looks a little bit less scary now. Did actually stuff that, even though it went as high as 540, went back down. So we'll see there. I do like this one. This one has a good history of it. I remember what day was it? Was it this day?
It has a mixed history.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But I think where your odds are kind of in your favor for this one is that it's day 3, and we're gapping up from like the 2s to the 7s. So like there's a world where it's very hard to hold these levels.
Yeah.
And we do close in between 3 and 5.
I will say I do hate that I'm short at 5. I wish I was like 550. I wish I was like up here.
That would be better.
Yeah, this low here is not my. I'm not a fan. But if it works, it should be at 4. So either way. Anyways, let's look at the chat real quick.
Someone is throwing some freaking haymakers at you.
Really? Let's see.
They said, Kyle, thanks for the SNGX liquidity. I took your cover.
Oh, you're welcome. Anything to help. I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like I get it. I literally, another world with another plan, I'd probably be shorting to highs. It's just the problem is I don't have I haven't formulated a trade plan that I'm comfortable enough to short into new highs. Because like, what do I like? Am I going to risk pre-market highs? Am I going to risk this little double top high at 12? Am I risking all-time high at 15? I don't know which level is the most meaningful. I just know one of them may fail, and so getting short at like say low 9s, I can't be comfortable. And maybe that's my fault for shorting a weakness, not getting a strength. But even if I was shorting, say, the 960s here, I don't know if I'm risking 11, am I risking 12? And so I'm trying to wait for a failure today to get a better risk reward of risking, say the high 9s here and then get a less than $1 share risk and then have it fade. But again, that's the cost that comes here, which is I cover, into strength. But I totally get it. You probably, if you want to add it again, I'll probably have to cover over highs again. So.
Said Fifi popping.
No way.
Let's see what popping is. It's up 2-3 cents.
That's not popping. If you want to keep
These are charts that just delete them. Just delete them. They're not in play anymore. The SIRI, Kyle, from last or
Siri, yeah. Serious.
I was hoping I had one more red day like that because I just felt like with that how weak it was that day, like we were gonna get a multi-day bounce on it. And because it's not like an actual pump, it's a real company and pretty good 2-day bounce coming off of it now.
Pretty nice. Kaza or KZIA. Kazia tried getting short. The moment I try getting short, it pulls back. That's always fun. Today's lovely. VVPR lower. Not going to be able to short that one.
ANVS in the 12s.
Really?
Stupid.
You're lying. Oh my god. Dude.
It's just a support crack.
Not a fun week to start. For those who were not in the webinar yesterday, I got short. All right, I was short. I covered. I got short again. I didn't cover. I got stopped out. Oh, it was very fun yesterday. Let's see. SNGX. Let's go back. Could not. So far hasn't, and actually has rolled over a little lower high potentially. But I think we got to lose these 870s to really feel like this is backside. Otherwise, this is just another, doing whatever it does, chopping around. KZIA, we've filled. It's bounced back. This might be dumb, but I think this volume's fading. Let's see if the warrants kick in and we get back down to the 20s. But might be asking for a lot. We'll see. What else? What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Let's look at the charts. Check. Cost is back lower, so I do have an eyeball on that one. However, it's not really fading. It's stuffed, but again, my trade plan was to look for it to start just selling off, kind of like this. So if it was going to go like that to the mid 9s into the 8s, that's kind of what I wanted. And so far, we're not. We're looking a little too sideways. This doesn't look too weak, given that it's down to stopped at supported 10 for 20 minutes now. Anyways, now we want to keep asking questions from the chat. I feel like I've lost track of where we're at.
Yeah, let me look. Wayne says kind of ratty open. Interpret that as you will.
Was a little ratty.
IM says, I live, I die, I live again.
Oh, that's a quote from a movie.
Dawson says, important question is which eyeball, of course. Kyle, you were the one talking.
Sorry, what's up?
Did you say you had some sort of eyes on something? I don't know. I trust it was funny. Dawson's funny.
Yeah, I was just zooming back and forth, head on a swivel.
SNGX, nice kind of rounding down here for those short sellers.
We'll see. Yeah, the longer I look at this, though, the more I think there's just no world where I add. Unless I added into strength and just get a even tighter risk reward, even though I literally thought I was going to stop out here. It's the way this moves in general. It's one of those ones that I'm never going to have something huge size on,
What pattern is this for you?
This has been happening. I don't think we've really made a name for it, but it's happened quite frequently in the last couple months where it's it doesn't have to be a one-day runner. It could be a couple-day runners, but it's where the runner gives back most of its gains into late day, or even from the morning, and now you have all these resistance levels that if it spikes into, it's unlikely to break and then actually pull back. It's almost like you almost want to call it a bounce short, because I kind of wanted to do it, and Dom, you and I talked about it yesterday on costs, where had costs spiked for me a little bit more into the 13s, like 1350s, like we're right in the dead center of where all the resistance was yesterday. Or not yesterday, but from the run. I mean, I would have loved to get short and looked for a pull at least to sub 12. Obviously, it was way better than that. It went sub 11. But so I don't really know what you'd call that. We haven't really named it, but it's like like a backside, I don't know, resistance bounce short. I don't know, in too many words, but that's kind of what I would categorize it in my brain. But we'll see.
William says, I call it a day 2 gap and crap. Gap within range after fading big after day 1 run. Long it at 7, sell at 9, 10, 11, use that cushion to flip short. Yeah, get out of here, William. There ain't no pattern that has a longing and shorting in it in the same morning.
Oh, too funny.
William's the next Jack Kellogg, I think, or he's trying to be. He likes to read the price action. He's good at recognizing trends. Like he's just said, VLCN did the same thing. Yeah, but you're just lying to yourself if you're calling it a pattern. I just don't like shorting stocks that are green. Like I feel like SNGX is so mid-range right now. The highs at 15, lows in the $3 area. Kind of got $5 or $6 each side. Odds probably favor lower, but like
VRPX
IVP. IVP really going for it here.
It's higher or lower?
Up or down?
Oh wow, higher. Right.
Kind of broke out of that 380 triple top one.
Literally, It's yeah, one of those ones no one cares about the offering. It's too low float, too many shorts.
I think that might still come into play. I'm gonna keep watching it.
Okay. I mean,
Uh,
I think pretty sure the offering's live, so like
mhm.
there's no one's.
And you need volume to sell the offerings, so this is all part of the plan.
I mean, it's only 6 million shares, so not that much, not much needed.
1.8 million
Um,
shares on the day. You still need more.
There's
he
12
just bought
millers.
the 311 breakout and just hodled.
Coddled.
I
He
guess
would
if
have,
I
yeah.
was Harry Houdini, I would have done that.
Yeah. He just said maybe something's gonna happen here. Let that go to 6 or 8. That'd be great.
That'd be very fun.
Zap, weaker than a turtle with no shell.
Let me see. Let's see where this is at.
No shell.
Nice.
Well, like it lost its shell. I had like a situation where someone was threatening and he popped out to get a little bit more speed and now he's stuck.
Oh no.
Alrighty. Any last minute questions here? We got a couple more minutes.
Let me look. Um, Dom, Huddy, or Kyle, when you guys first started, did you risk in dollars? Did you risk in dollars, as in you gave yourself a bigger, shorter risk range depending on the amount of shares versus the price entered? Um,
Yes.
SNGX is
uh,
beautiful right
We
there.
have a winning trade, everybody. Woohoo! Yes.
Whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves,
I know,
Dom.
right? It's like it's if like it's out of the woods. Like, no, this can come right back.
Now I'm jealous. I feel like I was too picky waiting for it to get to 10-11 when it was clearly kind of topping in the nines.
I don't know. I might have to take a loss in LGBN. We're ramping back here. So this
Um,
loss doesn't really make, or this win on SNGX, even if it happens, doesn't really feel great. This is just grinding back here.
As far as that question goes, the risk in dollars makes sense to me, but when you say you give yourself a bigger, shorter risk range depending on the amount of shares versus the price entered, if either of you can make sense of that.
I'll just tell them how I've always
Yeah.
risked, which is, I mean, well, the first way I did it, I only bought 100 shares. So when I really wanted to be small, and I knew 100 shares of anything between $10 and lower was never going to be more than $100 loss. I just took 100 shares. Now, once I actually started to want to dive in beyond that and actually develop some kind of more solid risk management, that is when I got into dollar size, and I've stayed, not dollar size, dollar risk, and that is when I've stayed that way my entire career. So like I'm going into every trade risking a certain amount as a beginner. So it was like, for me it was like $40. I'm gonna risk $40 in this trade. I'm gonna risk $40 in this trade. 2 months later, I'm gonna risk $40 in that trade. And that would dictate how much size I take. If I have 10 cents of risk or 20 cents of risk. If I have 10 cents of risk, I'm taking 400 shares. If I have 20 cents of risk, I'm taking 200 shares. Right. Now it's still the same. However, it just varies by the setup. So like SNGX, I'm only risking, I have like 2,500 shares. I say with slippage, I cover at 10. I'm risking $2,500. I don't really want to lose more than that one because I've already taken a $1,800 loss on the first one, and I don't really want to lose more than 5K or 4 to 5K on 2 attempts here. Whereas LGVN, I'm willing to just give it one attempt, and so on this one attempt, I'm a little bit bigger, knowing that I will stop out and not reshort, and so I have like 5,000 shares here. So if I stop over like the sixes or the high day, worst case it's like a 7K loss, right? So a little bit bigger on this one, but I feel much more convicted and better about LGVN than I do about SNGX. Just from a history of this thing gapping and crapping pretty well. So again, that's not something I say a beginner does. I think a beginner doesn't know how to compartmentalize what's better and what's not. Even arguably, sometimes I don't. Like sometimes I make mistakes as well. I'm not saying it's the perfect formula for me. But as a beginner, I stuck to a very same dollar risk across the board until I started to get a better viewpoint of what was good and what was bad.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I think it's important when you're first starting to be consistent in everything that you do, from the patterns you trade to how you track to how you risk, because in the beginning you're most likely going to lose. So the best course of action is to minimize that. The best way possible is to just have the same dollar risk per trade. That's what I did. I think I risked $100 a trade, and every single trade, Doesn't matter what setup it was or how great I thought it was. I risked $100 every time. So that way I knew that that was a fixed loss. And then as I got better, the wins just got bigger, and I slowly increased that number over time. I don't really switch it up too much like Kyle does, where he has more conviction and will push more size. Um, but I think towards the beginning, that's definitely what I did. I don't know if that's what Huddy did. Huddy was kind of more of a roller coaster at the beginning.
And there was no method to the madness. No, I did the same thing as Kyle. I started just bigger. I started with 1,000 shares. It wasn't 100 shares, it was 1,000 shares. And I worked with that until I understood what dollar risk was, and then I, moved to $1,000 risk instead of 1,000 shares. And I learned how to, manipulate with $1,000 risk. And then from there, in the right markets, I go up to 2,000 or 2,500. And if I don't feel like I'm trading well, then I go back down to 1,000. And that's kind of always how I've traded.
Beautiful.
IVP kind of crushed right there a little bit.
IVP. Nice. Costs also pulled. Guess who didn't feel anything? This guy. Oh, another trade missed. Maybe it bounces, we'll get short, but another one I wasn't watching when it died. SNGX though, look at this.
Look at this.
Beautiful. Again, unfortunately, there's no real spot I wanted to add. I honestly almost thought, when this looked really sideways here, I almost thought about it. I'm like, you know what, a crack's coming. Like much lower volume. I'm like, crack, I could add right here. The problem is for me, if I added, I was like, if it pops even over a view app, I would cut it just because I don't want to get caught in holding that size all the way till high day. And I'm glad it didn't, because what do you know, it has to pop, shake everyone out, and then it dies. So I would have been one of those people who would have just got shaken out on that ad and then still only had this size, and it would have just happened the same. So happy I didn't do that.
IVP looks like it's halting down now.
Oh wow.
Trying to.
Well, there's your selling.
I know. They're there. And same with SNGX, right? Like these warrants make a difference in small cap. I was pretty close to locating shares of SNGX as well, around 952. I just didn't do it.
Would have been better entry than me.
That would have been low nines with high day risk.
Beauty. Well, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in with us today. Again, busy day, almost too busy, like I've said. Any final closing words, Dom or Huddy?
Yeah, I'd say keep eyes on the sector. There's a lot of plays that we didn't get to mention today because, quite honestly, just lack of screen space. But I got half an eye on, the Peggies of the world that are still trading and consolidating within their ranges, and I don't know. There's a number of other ones that just aren't on my screen right now.
Yeah, what's
active market?
What's Maxon doing? Oh,
yeah, what's Maxon? I haven't even looked at it.
Red. All right, Dom.
My closing thoughts are stay in your lane, be the best version of yourself. I'm having a nice green week by taking the fewest amount of trades I have in the last few weeks, just sticking to what's on my watch list, making sure I have the right plan for every particular ticker, and just trying to take it nice and slow, like a turtle with its shell. And that's good advice for anyone. I think especially when you're here watching us live trade and bringing up 10 different tickers. I'm sitting here on a laptop, so it's even hard for me with one chart just to keep up with all these tickers that people are talking about. But if you can, spend some time the night before, early in pre-market, really preparing yourself for the tickers that actually are your patterns, and just let those wins slowly add up, you will gain consistency and you will build your account. And that's the most important thing. It's not about being the best trader and trading everything in every single direction of every stock. It's about picking moments during the stock's run that are predictable for you. And we'll be live again tomorrow, 8:45 a.m., assuming I have power. And we'll see what the rest of the day has to offer. Hopefully Zap's at 8.
Perfect. Peace, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.